is Kim Otzelberger. I'm a senior here. What? I'm studying media design with a focus in film, so hopefully one day you'll see my name at those end credits. But I'm going to be the moderator for the student panel. So let's go ahead and just go down the line, introduce yourself, but wait, I have some questions. It was upside down, sorry y'all. Okay, so you're going to say your name, major, your favorite animal, Haley, if you want to change it up, that's okay, and your favorite spot on Alverno's campus.
Okay, so my name is Marisol. I am currently a junior nursing major. My favorite animal is the elephant, and my favorite spot on campus is the cafe. Just love the energy.
My name is Alejandra. My major is, I just switched it actually, right? So now I'm a global studies major with a minor in community leadership and development. My favorite animal, I love baby pandas. Like, have you seen the videos of baby pandas on the internet? Oh, they're just so cute. And my favorite spot on campus, I would say the spot right outside the church, like where the atrium, yes. You guys, you need to check it out.
You took my spot. So my name is Haley McLean. I am a junior studying business management. My favorite animal is a platypus, but I also like cats. I'm a cat mom right now, currently. It's pretty cool. Anyways, my favorite spot on campus besides the atrium, check it out if it's raining for sure. I would say the chapel, because I feel like the chapel is just a very beautiful spot to be in.
Thank you. Okay, so when applying to colleges, what made you choose Alverno? If you need a moment to think, that's okay. You don't have to go in order.
Okay, I'll go. I chose Alverno because I come from a really big high school. Like, my graduating class was almost 1,000. So coming here was a huge difference for me. So like, small classes definitely made it a big difference for me. That's why I chose Alverno.
I'm a non-traditional student, so I'm 30, and obviously I've been here for almost 4 years. So coming here as an adult, I chose Alverno because the transition was a lot easier. I didn't feel like I didn't have a hard time incorporating myself into the atmosphere of the school, of the culture of the school. I found that everybody was really cool and supportive, even though I was like the old mom in the group.
My grandma was a double alum, so that's how I heard about Alverno. And then I took a tour here and I couldn't stop coming back. Literally was here at least 5 times. I just loved the energy. It felt like home, and this was truly the place for me. There was no other question as to where I was going to go.
Can you repeat the question?
Okay, so this is Santana. So I'm going to have you introduce yourself. So you have a couple questions to answer. Say your name, major, your favorite animal, and your favorite spot on campus. Then once you've gotten through that, you're going to talk about when you were applying to colleges, why did you choose Alverno? If you need to phone a friend, I can always repeat the questions.
Got you. Okay, so my name is Santana. I'm also battling a teeny mini cold. I'm a women's and gender studies major. My favorite animal, it has to be like a panda bear or a fennec fox. My room, because I can go to sleep whenever I want to. And then how did I learn about Alverno? Or why did I choose it out of all the colleges I applied to? Alverno is super small, and I feel like at the other colleges, I wouldn't get as much. I feel like I'm a needy person, and when I don't understand something, I need one-on-one attention. And at all the other schools, I wouldn't get the attention that I require for myself.
Thanks, y'all. Okay, so how was your transition from a graded letter system to Alverno's abilities and feedback-based curriculum? I did not say that word right, but that's okay.
So in high school, I was a super high-achieving student, and I was definitely nervous to come and start here with no grades because that was my motivation in high school. It was 100% like a 180. I struggled a little bit at first because I couldn't see the direct, you did a good job, keep going, but it took a while for me to see that feedback and understand that feedback and be like, oh, this is more valuable than an A and a gold star, you know? And it was also difficult because I had stuff I needed to work on and no one's ever told me that before. So I think that is truly, truly valuable and something that we do that's amazing, I guess.
To go off of that, it's also something that they do in the professional world. You don't get grades, you get feedback, you get constructive feedback, and I found professionally, because of the skills that I acquired at Alverno, like I'm out there now and I'm working professionally, and it's a lot easier for me to transition into that because of what I learned here.
For me personally, it wasn't that hard of a transition. I didn't feel a big difference because I always did get feedback, so for me it was a lot smoother. I did feel it a little bit at first when it was like, well, at the end of the semester, well, did I pass or did I not pass? So getting that feedback really assured me that I was doing okay in the class, and just talking to my professors every day, just getting that information that I needed from them.
I think for most people it's going to be a culture shock. You're going from competing with other students to competing with yourself. Because at this point, once you get to Alverno, you're not trying to outbeat somebody to get that A+ or to get that 100%. You're trying to see, oh dang, I did good on that, but where can I be better? You want to better yourself, not try and outdo the other person. It's going from being a competitor against others to being a competitor of yourself.
Could I just share a story? Yeah. So my freshman year, my global studies professor, David Brooker, who's now my advisor, one of his feedback lines was, I know you could do better. And that like stung. I was like, you're right, I can. And that sticks with you. And since then I've made sure to like, don't disappoint David and don't disappoint myself.
Thanks, everyone. What has been your favorite class experience so far?
For me, personally, I'm a nursing major, so right now I'm taking skills. So I love being in the CLC, the Clinical Learning Center, with all the dummies. I love that. I love practicing on that. So that's been the most fun for me. And all the professors are really helpful and really nice with helping. So I really enjoy that right now.
My most favorite class experience was being in a class that I thought that I would hate and like ending up loving it. Like I would have never imagined that I would love doing business analysis, but I love math and I love that class, so that was definitely a big turning point for me.
Well, for me, most of my classes are philosophy-based, so I took a class last semester and the semester before called Philosophy of Food. You would think that's way super easy, but it was not. It was so much reading and so much analysis of things you think you already can grasp of the concepts, but then it's like, let's go way deeper than what you think you know so you can know more.
That's hard, because I don't think mine has happened yet, because, and I'll say this, I just started taking Model UN class, and we're going to Chicago in November, and I have a feeling that's going to be my favorite class experience. If you guys are familiar with Model UN, you know you get to represent like different countries and different delegations, and then you go to this giant conference where you just get to do a simulation of real Model UN. And if you haven't done it, I highly recommend you take it as soon as you can when you come to Alverno.
Thanks, y'all. Okay, if you've lived on campus, what did you like most about it? Or if you've lived off campus, how was it like being a commuter student?
I can go for both. I have lived on and off campus, and I tell you, living on campus is way more convenient because I like to think you build more connections because you get to see people more and you don't have to worry about, dang, if I stay later, who gonna study with me? Like when I was commuting, I stayed later, and it was always hard when I got home, finding the time to focus other than I got chores. I got to make sure my brothers get to school on time. I have to go to work. I have to do all these other 50 million things that are distracting you. Even though you do have distractions on campus, there are ways that you can be like, okay, I'm going to say no to that because I know that they're going to be okay with me saying no. Whereas if you have a job that's not an on-campus job, it's like a slap in the face telling your manager, I'm sorry, I have 60 projects that are due. Can I take this shift off?
I like commuting. But again, I'm a non-traditional student, so like I'm an adult with children and pets. So it's nice to be able to leave that and come here. And this is like my own little personal office space.
Well, I lived on campus all 3 years, and I love it because I'm from Illinois, so it's like an hour away for me. So I like to be on campus all the time. It's my home away from home. It just makes me feel good being here.
So I started off living on campus. I didn't want to. I'm originally from up north, so I needed to be on campus, but I was trying not to. I was trying to live with family members. But my uncle was like, no, live on campus. This is where you're going to make your friends. And I'm so glad I did, because that's where I met everyone. Now I live off campus. It's right down the street. But it's definitely different, but I'm very grateful for my experiences in the dorms, or the residence hall, sorry, in the first 2 years.
Thanks, y'all. I like to wait a few minutes, never know if someone's like, ooh, story time. Fun fact, I'm a commuter student, but I've fooled everyone in this school that I actually live on campus. So if you're a commuter student, my advice to you is just to get as involved on campus as you'd like to be. It's an amazing experience. Okay, y'all ready? So we're a women's college. How has it been with no boys or men in your classes?
I actually didn't notice it at first. I really didn't until, it doesn't really hit you until you see a guy on campus, where it's like they just stick out, but you don't really notice it. I really enjoy it, actually.
I should just say we like men, okay?
I feel like you guys will learn this fast. At Alverno, we have tables and groups, and we have a lot of group discussions or small group work. And it really, you feel like you can be open about things. You know, you can just freely share what you want and know that you won't be told to like be quiet or something. You know, like you can just be yourself and you can be really comfortable.
There's also a sisterhood vibe with all the women here. It's genuinely like women supporting women 24/7.
I mean, it's not like we don't have men on campus. We have male instructors. It's just like we don't have men in the classroom. So for me, my first experience of having an actual male in my classroom, like, what the heck are you doing here? But he needed to get the stuff done so that he could graduate. So I mean, like, it's not noticeable until you notice it.
Yeah.
Other than that, you're just getting your work done because you got to do what you got to do.
Thank you. How are you all involved on campus, whether that's student organizations or campus student worker positions?
I'll go. So I currently have 3 jobs on campus. So I work for admissions as a student ambassador. I work in the computer lab as a student lab assistant. So if you guys need help connecting your laptops to the Wi-Fi, let me know. And I also work for Res Life as Rec Room Program Manager, so I put on programs for the students in the residence halls. So craft nights, movies, game nights, I do that kind of stuff.
I started out as a student ambassador my freshman year. Was it freshman? I'm looking at, yes. Yeah, that was fun. And then I founded a student organization, Youth Empowered in the Struggle, which is a student org that focuses on marginalized groups of students or any student that needs that leadership development or empowerment. We're actually the student branch of Voces de la Frontera, a nonprofit organization here in Milwaukee. And then I actually got the job as the lead organizer with them. So I don't lead the student organization anymore, but I'm still very connected with on-campus activities through that.
I am involved in GSA, which is our Gay Straight Alliance. I'm the secretary of that. And then I'm also involved in Film Club, and I'm a Alverno ambassador, and then I'm also a peer leader. So peer leader is basically like the students that will help you get orientated into like Alverno. So that's going to be your, I guess, next step after being admitted.
See, I have so many things that I do. So I am a CA in the residence halls. I have worked as a student ambassador for admissions. I work currently in the Dean of Students office as a student assistant. I am also a peer leader. I am also a desk worker in the residence halls. I am co-president of the F Word, which is our feminist student org on campus. I'm just all in everything. So you will see me everywhere. Even after I graduate, I'll be back.
Big move. Me too. In other words, get involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
The fall play is also a lot of fun to do if you're a theater person.
Yes, Julie.
I'm sorry to interject, but I just had a conversation with Alex out in the hall. Alex, can you just explain, because I think this is really exciting.
I'm so sorry, can you turn off my
Alex, you got background music to explain your story.
Just like
No, yeah, you talk about things with the student organization and that actually turned into a full-time position for you before you graduated. I feel like that might not have come across, and that's so exciting.
Yeah, I've always been, my original major was community leadership and development because I wanted to advocate for people that don't have the resources. I come from an immigrant family and both my parents were undocumented, so I know what it was difficult for them to acquire resources. And that's when I connected with Voces de la Frontera, which then connected me to Youth Empowered in the Struggle, and I found the need here on campus because we do have all these amazing student organizations. They all do great, amazing job, but I felt like we needed something that really focused on community change and policy change in our city. And when I founded that group, it's hard as a college student trying to get other college students involved because their schedules are all over the place. So we kind of just started out as having educational sessions on different issues that affect our community. And I did that for about a year and a half, and then there was a job opening at Voces for the lead youth organizer. And I obviously haven't graduated yet, so I was a little nervous about it, but I felt that I've received the training and the knowledge here at Alverno with my major and my experiences through founding the chapter, through my job as a student ambassador, and I applied, and I got it. So I've been doing it for a month now. Yeah, I have a salary job with benefits before my senior year even started. So it was really amazing. And that's what you get here at Alverno. You get actual experience that you can apply to real jobs. And when they see that on your resume, they're like, whoa. And yeah, you have all of the experience to back it up with.
Thanks, everyone. So what has been one of your favorite connections you've made with one of the Alverno professors or faculty here on campus?
So many.
I would say definitely connect with advisors, faculty members, because they are your biggest advocates. The more they know about you, the more they know how to help you. I actually just got an email last night. It was like, congratulations, you got this scholarship. And I was like, I don't even remember applying for a scholarship. Maybe they made a mistake. Turns out one of the faculty members here at Alverno recommended me, and that's why I got it. So it's really important, and I could say that about almost everybody here at Alverno. This is my second family. It's really important to just really put yourself out there, make those connections, make those relationships with faculty and advisors.
I got an email at 9:38 p.m. from a faculty wanting to connect after the summer. So that was very interesting. I had developed a relationship with her this last semester in a class that I took with her. I met with her a couple of different times because I'm interested in pursuing the career that she had before teaching here. And so I was just scrolling on my phone and I got this email. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's reaching out to me so that we can connect again. And she sent it at a late time. I'm like, okay. I guess it might sound a little weird to some, but it's just an example of that the professors really do care. They want to always be connecting with you. Yeah.
Well, all of my teachers give out their cell phone number, which I really appreciate because if I have homework that's due at midnight and I need an answer to a question at 10, they can answer right away. So I really like that. But all of my professors have given out their phone numbers. They have all requested if I meet outside of their own schedules. They're just willing to work with you all the time, so I really enjoy it.
I have two of them. So the first one is I work in the dean of students office. So when I tell people this, they think it's so weird. Whenever I have a question or anything, I'm definitely texting Wendy. Hey Wendy, I got this question. And when I tell people outside of Alverno, they're like, you text your dean of students? And I'm like, also I work for her, so I have to remind her, you gotta go to this next meeting. But it's also a question I have at 10 o'clock at night. And then my second one is, even before I started Alverno, because I did the Girls Academy, and they were always like, when you get here, if you need anything, let me know. And I'm gonna tell you, college is hard. So sometimes you're like, where am I gonna help find this money? And use the people you met before, so Julie and Sophia, and let them know when you're struggling. Because one semester I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it. And they were like, oh no, we got you. And I'm still here, and I'm gonna graduate next December.
Thank you. So I do have some more questions on my paper, but of course I'd like to open up questions from the audience. So now is your time. If you have any burning questions, I can come around. Not everyone at once.
So so I know sometimes it's funny the way they portray college on TV and stuff. So what I wanted to ask y'all was, have y'all ever had a moment where y'all felt like it was one of those moments on TV? I was
Such a good question.
I thought school was a lot easier. I really did. I came in here and I was like, well, I understood that it was going to be harder than high school, but I didn't think it was going to be somewhat this harder. So, I thought I could do it all on my own. I can't. I need all the help I can get. So that was my big difference.
I do, when they have the little get-togethers in the dorms and stuff, we do that all the time. We be in the kitchen together making dinner. We just be in the kitchen at 2 o'clock in the morning just joking about nothing. Me and Marisol spent 3 hours one night trying to figure out what we were going to be for Halloween. We still don't know. So
Any suggestions?
You have those moments. You just got to make them.
So y'all have Halloween parties and stuff like that?
We're going to make our own Halloween party.
Did anyone else want to tackle that question? Hello, friends. Anyone else have a question you'd like to ask our panel? Parents, you're allowed to ask too. Maybe if I don't look at you so you don't feel pressured. Okay? Okay. I'm slowly going to grab my piece of paper. If someone thinks of a question, I'll put it down. Okay. Okay, here's a good one. How has Alverno's feedback and abilities-based curriculum advanced your educational goals?
It's made me so much better at everything that I need to do. So I'm really bad at writing, and all the feedback, I've had to revise the paper 6 times just because I couldn't get it right. And I also had to go to the CRC, the Communication Resource Center, for it, and I'm a way better writer now because of it.
For me, it helps you see what you really can't see for yourself. So you have all these people saying you're doing all these great things when you're like, I don't think I'm doing all these great things. And when you keep hearing it, you're like, no, I'm actually doing all these great things, and you start to believe it. It helps you, it ingrain that in your head. You don't think you're good at this, but these people who have done this for years, who have doctorates and masters, they're telling you you're doing this. So it helps you believe in yourself. And that's something that I'm still working on.
A question! Yay!
Before you ask your question, even though I'm really excited, does anyone else want to answer the educational goals one?
I was just going to say, it makes you more intentional. You set high expectations for yourself. So you're not just up at 2 in the morning trying to finish this paper before it's due. You actually think things through, and you are intentional about them all.
Thank you. Here I come. Sorry, it takes me a couple of steps to get over by people.
Can you explain the grading system here, the feedback thing at Alverno?
Yeah, so what happens if you have an assignment, you submit it, depending on the teacher, they like different forms of ways to submit it. And then you get it back with either an S for satisfactory or a, what's the other?
IP,
IP.
which means in progress.
And then what's the failing one?
It's you, but you don't ever see that.
Yeah, right. So sometimes you get an S plus, but no matter what, like even on my papers that I've gotten S's on, I still get feedback from my advisor. Like they'll point out, you did this great, but I want you next time when you have an assignment similar to this, I want you to expand this way, or maybe use this type of method. And if you get an IP, you get the opportunity to revise your work and resubmit it. I think,
Yeah, so I guess a lot of people might be nervous that like, oh, it's a pass-fail. It genuinely isn't because of that in progress, that revision piece. So when you submit something, you're always going to get feedback, and if you miss something, they're going to be like, hey, could you revise this and resubmit it? It really is allowing you to build off and like rethink it and have that second chance, which is something that you're going to do in the workplace. Like you're never going to get like, oh, you failed this, don't ever look at this again, you know, in the workplace. We're also like an abilities-based curriculum. So you're constantly going to be applying these abilities that are going to be in your folders and those little card things in the classes. So I guess it also helps apply like a real life connection right into the work that you're doing.
Another thing is they're going to give you criteria. So they want you to hit this point, and this point. And if you don't hit maybe 2 out of those 3 points, they're going to give you that IP so you can go in and meet those 2 points. And then if you meet 2 of the 3, they're going to give you that IP so you can get in and get all 3 of them. It's never going to be, here's this assignment, interpret it how you want. We're not going to leave you hanging like that.
so yeah, they basically don't let you settle for a C.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to constantly be working on yourself and the quality of your work.
Julie's got something?
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel like we're also used to it, like.
Yeah, okay.
Natural part, right?
So on top of like you handing in your paper, fun fact, you're gonna also write a self-assessment. And it, I guess, adds like an element of extra work, but you're basically gonna write like a short paragraph, depending on what the teacher wants, about what you thought you did well, where you thought like, I probably didn't do my best on this, and like, it just gives you a chance to reflect on your own work, and it also gives the professor a chance to like see what your thought process was alongside of the paper, rather than just looking at that paper.
You can maybe you thought you did bad on something, but you actually did amazing on it.
And it also helps develop your accountability, because you could be like, oh, I did amazing, which you really probably didn't, you know. I know I've done that, and then your teacher will call you out on it.
And it allows you to like practice like honesty with yourself, and discovering like, oh, if you always think you're bad at something and like you're constantly getting like good feedback, it's like, oh, maybe I need to think about how I think about myself.
Thank you. So to tie into that question, have you had any assignments that you did have to revise? You got that IP on. What was that experience like for you?
Well, like I mentioned before, I had to revise a paper like 6 times. So that was, at first it was kind of stressful because I didn't understand why. But after getting like 6, well, for every paper that I turn in, I get like 2 pages back on feedback. So that explains in detail what I need to fix for the next time. So if I leave anything out, they're like, okay, we'll go to the first feedback that I gave you, or go back to this, and go back to that. So it actually is very helpful. It can be a little bit tedious, but it does help a lot.
I think for me last semester it was really hard because I was like, I'm killing it in this course. And then we get to mid-semester assessment and I'm like, I'm not killing it. She said, she literally was like, I expect way more from you. And I said, don't cry in front of her. That is not cute. And then I I get in there and I revise, and then she exempts me from the final assessment. So like, I was killing it, and then I wasn't killing it, and then I killed it.
In my math class here, you know how earlier I said I love math? Well, my first math class was statistics. I don't do statistics. Every piece of homework that I got and I handed in, I got an IP every single time. Oh my gosh, I was frustrated. So I would have to go back and redo all these math questions that I really didn't want to do in the first place. But it allowed me to go back and make that connection of, this doesn't work, I have to do it this way in order for it to work. Kind of make that connection for myself rather than just get an X and a wrong and move on. So I guess I did learn more in that math class than might have been intended. And it was definitely frustrating, but I'm very thankful because otherwise I probably would have failed it.
Yeah, I think accounting was the one course, yeah. And it was with Mike, and I love Mike, he's super sweet.
I loved accounting, guys. I hate statistics.
Math period is not my thing. I was like, I can't even handle my own financial life. How am I gonna switch? Anyway, yeah, it was one of those things where, I'm typically the type of person that I'm really hard on myself, and it was one of those things where it's like, why am I not getting it? But he was super sweet and was like, you know this, you just have to apply it differently to understand it. And so once I got that IP and the opportunity to revise it, I was able to really give that time to understand it. And then I got it and I passed.
Thanks, y'all. So I know revising, getting that IP can be frustrating, but Alverno has tons of events on campus to relieve some stress. So why don't you talk about one of your favorite events on campus?
So I have a family. We have 2 kids, a little boy and a little girl, 12 and 11, and their favorite event is casino night. Yes, Ezra, he was like, hey, when's casino night? Is that happening this year? And I was like, yes, it is. It's so much fun. So you come in, there's free food, there's free non-alcoholic drinks, and you get little tickets so you can play different casino games. We brought them last year, our little boy, he just sat at the blackjack table and killed it, and I was like, oh my god, did we just start something bad? But he loved it. And then his little girl, my boyfriend's little girl, ended up winning something at the raffle, and she was like, this is the best thing ever. They wanted to stay later, but we were like, no, it's bedtime. So casino night, definitely make it.
I love all the off-campus excursions that the student activities board does. So you could go to a basketball game, Brewers game. What's our basketball team?
The rep. You can do rep shows.
That's what I was gonna say. The rep. So we do a musical/play, usually in each semester. And so, y'all, I'm going to go see the West Side Story for free. They're taking us, the group of us, to see this. They're transporting us. We also do things like go down to Chicago and just have a shopping day. So there are a lot of great opportunities for those off-campus excursions, and it's super fun.
I love the foodie adventures. So they take a group of us to try different restaurants that cover different foods from different places, and it's all free. So I love it. Get to try new food.
I did Casablanca, I think
me
it was
too.
2 years ago. Yeah.
So good.
We have a restaurant called Casablanca.
Yes.
I thought you were talking about the movie, and I was like, wait a minute.
No, it's delicious.
I have to agree, the foodie adventures and then the off-campus excursions. We're going to Madison this semester, and I'm so excited. They got a candy apple shop up there that's a pink lemonade candy apple, and I love it.
Rock on, y'all. And I just want to point out that all of the events they were talking about are free. Underline that, bold that, free, free, free. I don't know about y'all, but I don't have to worry about parking. I don't have to worry about driving. If I get free food, sign me up. I'm first on the list. So when you come to college, we would love for you to come here, but wherever you go, my biggest advice is to get all the free stuff you can, get involved, and go to all the events.
Even if it's the free shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So target
Like,
$10. Why not get a free one?
I also, I was say I also really like the different civil rights sessions that we have. Like we had a panelist of community leaders come in and talk about human trafficking in Milwaukee, which I had heard about it, but I wasn't very informed on it. So to have a panel of professionals that you could connect with and ask questions to, that was really cool. And they do that a lot. They have different sessions like that all the time.
Thanks, y'all. Anyone from the audience? Oh, here I come.
So we're not from the city, and being up from a smaller town up north, how safe do you feel in this environment, the area around here? It's a city, crime happens.
So I grew up in a very small town, 2 hours up north. I've never lived in a city environment. Alverno honestly feels like a bubble. I honestly forget that I'm in Milwaukee. It's super, super safe on campus. I have never once felt like, I guess, in danger. And then around Milwaukee, honestly, it's safe. I don't feel uncomfortable going anywhere in the area. And as far as getting to know where to go, there's a lot of stuff in the immediate area. So lots of shopping and things to do and food. So yeah, I've had a great experience.
And once the sun comes down, you don't feel like you have to walk in groups of 4 or more?
On campus, definitely not. It's very safe. We do have campus security on campus 24/7. They're walking around everywhere. They're already on their golf carts. Yeah, they're super responsive. You get their phone number. There's blue emergency poles. Yeah, it's very safe.
And not even just the safety poles, we have rave alerts, so if there is anything happening in the community, you'll get a text or you'll get an email, hey, this is happening, maybe you should stay on campus, or hey, this is happening, maybe you shouldn't come on campus, even if it's just a snowstorm, don't drive. We have systems set in place, and even after hours, when we are walking in groups of 4, it's just a thing that women should do, because wherever you go, it's not safe.
I grew up in Milwaukee. I grew up on the south side of Milwaukee. I moved out to the east side in my 20s. I've lived all over the city, and it's just for me, unfortunately Milwaukee is very segregated, so all these different parts of the city felt like their own little towns. But it's really wonderful when you get the opportunity to, cross the bridge to go to the other side and experience the struggles of all these other people, their experiences as well, their food. Oh, I love food. That's my favorite thing about Milwaukee. You can get food from anywhere in the world here. And it's a beautiful city, but like Santana was saying, you still have to take any sort of safety preparations, because that's unfortunately the nature of it. But I've never experienced anything horrible or horrific. Knock on wood.
Being prepared is always a good idea.
I feel pretty safe. I usually walk down to Walmart with a couple friends or even by myself before. Walking back, I feel perfectly fine. So.
Good question.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Anyone else have a question they'd like to ask the panel? Dun, 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 dun.
I was gonna reach, but I'm like, my arms are really I was wondering, is there any tutoring available for any classes if you have, trouble and need extra help?
That's an amazing question. All of our tutoring and everything is free. So we have our CRC, which is our Communication Resource Center, that's for writing, proofreading, speech help, if you need that. We have the Source Center, that's our Math and Science Resource Center, for if you're struggling with accounting or some nursing courses. There are also study groups for certain courses, most specifically our nursing. They're ingrained into the classrooms, and if not, you can ask for a personal tutor, talk to your instructor or our instructional services department, and they help work all that out.
Free.
Yes, free.
The Source Center saved my life my freshman year.
Thank you, thank you.
Have you noticed, being an all-girls school, a lot of cliques?
Me personally, no. I haven't really noticed anything. Everyone just jumps around, just talks to everyone. I mean, no. Everyone is really nice here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm trying to think of like mean girls.
Trying to Kool-Aid it. They're all so nice.
Right, like, yeah, I know it seems a little odd that like we're all like, yes, strong women empowerment. And then everyone's gonna have their own drama. There's gonna be drama, I mean, anywhere you go. But I couldn't like tell you, I'm like, oh, this group of girls mean, like, don't talk to them. There's nothing. Everyone is so helpful, it's crazy.
Well, like you'll see maybe like groups of people hang out together all the time because they either have the same classes or they're in a sports team together. I know like I hardly ever see nursing students, but they like work super hard. Nobody ever sees nursing students. But it's never like cliquey or mean or anything like that. Like everybody's still very, we all just like, hey, you know.
Yeah, if you want to, like, if you're ever nervous about, like, oh my gosh, first day, where do I sit? Go up to a table, say, hey, can I sit here? And everyone will be like, yeah, sure. And if they say no, you'll be okay. They're probably working on homework.
Thanks, y'all. Good question. Do you have a question, Julie?
No, I'm trying to be quiet and I'm trying to not interject because I like talking about all these things and I love Alverno.
Julie, join the panel. Dun, 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 mystery guest.
I have to make this clear. In my personal life, I have been here for over 6 years. In my personal life, I have a very dark sense of humor. I am extremely suspect of other people. I was that adult that was like, where is she going? What is she wearing? Who is she with? Why does she have those boots? I know those are cheap. I was that girl. We're terrible at this. Ladies and gentlemen have this worked out, most of them. My husband will be friends with anyone that stands next to him that likes the Packers or beer. That's the requirement. Can you talk about one of the two, or can you teach him something? He's probably going to listen. We don't do this. We hold each other at an arm's length, and when you come here, I always say that I would live here, but that's creepy because I'm old and married. Although my husband would probably like the break. It is very, very different to see women supporting one another and truly feeling like it's a sisterhood. We're an extremely diverse school, and so you get to be around all these women that come from somewhere you come from, but many who don't. And you get to be in a safe space to go, hey, what's going on? What are you celebrating? Or what's going on this week? I noticed you were wearing this every day, or whatever it is. It's a very safe place to learn about other women, other lifestyles, and overall, just supporting each other to do well. We don't do this enough in the larger community. And I had to get up when it was like, you're all like so nice and so, we're legit like this all the time. It is nice to be here. It is nice to feel like people want to support you. And when you are struggling, whether that's academically, socially, you're missing your family because you're far away, we're gonna be there to help you. I work in admissions, and I still talk to most of my students. You're done with admissions once you get in. I still talk to most of my students, and they stop by often. I should probably do more of my actual work in my next. They stop by a lot. But we really are like this. I just had to say that we really and truly enjoy being here. We feel like it's extremely valuable. And we are that school that you're either going to leave today going, oh my God, where was this place my whole life? This is where I need to be. Or you're going to go, they're kind of weird. That's not for me. We are non-traditional for certain. But if you want traditional, you got a million other choices. If you leave today and you feel like, oh yeah, this could be my home for 4 years, it's probably where you need to be. But yeah, no, we're nice all the time and we're happy. And I'm kind of weird, but they're all like, y'all are.
We're all weird.
Okay, thank you.
On that note, ending it on we're all weird, I love it. That's the time we have for the panel, so let's give our panelists a round of applause. Okay, so the next part of your day is going to be the campus open house. So if you have your pretty little map, I saw them this morning, they're gorgeous. You're going to take a trip around campus and kind of explore what we have to offer. You do have your little trading cards that you've been collecting. Julie, did you pass any of the ones I had in here out?
I did it.
Okay, so I'll make sure to get you that one. It's effective citizenship. But make sure to collect all of those trading cards. Some stops you may want to make around campus is going to be